the 6 of spades, you go through and you say, just put it in the deck like that. That's perfectly good. You do an in the hands riffle shuffle. Well, that's very, very simple, and it gets the card to the top. I'll leave it face up to make it a little easier to follow. All you do is you go through, you have the card returned, you hold a little finger break above it as you close the spread. So now from the audience's point of view, it looks like the card is lost in the deck, but of course you're holding a little finger break back here. Now what you're going to do is in the hands shuffle. Remember, you riffle till you get to about halfway. Well, since your finger is holding a break, the little finger of the left hand, it's a very easy matter to riffle till you get to the break. As soon as you get to the break, that means the chosen card is going to be on the top of the bottom half. That's where you separate. That's where you go into the shuffle like this. And when you square up, the card will end up being on the top, just like that. Another way to do this is to get a break below it. Let's say there's the chosen card. It goes into the middle. It looks exactly the same, except now because you got a break beneath the chosen card, you'll end up controlling the card to the bottom. Here's a nice little subtlety on this. As you spread through, the card goes into the deck. You get a break below it, remember. And now when you shuffle, you stick your little finger in there, you shuffle right to the break, and when you begin the shuffle, you start with the right hand packet first. That way you are sure to have it on the bottom, like this. You can also catch a quick glimpse of the card as you control the selection. This time I'll have a card selected at random. I have no idea what it is, but I'll let you see it. Put it back in the deck anywhere you'd like, say about the middle. That's a perfectly good place. Just one quick shuffle. Not only have I controlled your card to the bottom of the deck, but I took a quick little glimpse. I know it's the Jack of Clubs. And there it is. Now this is in the hands riffle shuffle glimpse. What happens is you go through, you put the card inside, you get a break below it this time. So there's the card. I get a break below the chosen card. I still don't know what it is, but when you close it like this and you do the riffle, your finger's in there. I look right at it. I can see it's the Jack of Clubs. I get my little glimpse, shuffle off, and there it is. You can also use a riffle shuffle to maintain a divided deck. Let's say your divided deck just happens to be red and black. All you need to do is a riffle shuffle like this, and you give it a quick little cut, and believe it or not, all of the red and the black cards are still separated. Now this is known as the Triumph or the Dai Vernon Triumph Shuffle. This is what happens. Since the top half is all one color and the bottom half is the opposite color, what I'll do is I will leave one half facing upward, the other half facing downward. It'll make it a lot easier to follow. You just cut less than the top half to the left. That's all you have to do is make sure that you're cutting into your upper half. So you cut less than the top half to the left, and when you do the shuffle, you end up the shuffle with one card from the right hand packet. So here's the standard shuffle. Just remember to end with one card in the right packet. Now instead of pushing the cards flush, what you're really going to do is you're going to transfer this top card from the top of the right hand packet over to the top of the left-hand packet. But that's done in the act of apparently squaring the shuffled deck. It should look like you're squaring them up, but you're just transferring the top card over. That's the Dai Vernon Triumph Shuffle. Now the right hand completely masks the fact that you've got a jogged packet, and that's the group of cards that you're going to strip out. You grab on those cards, you strip forward, that strips them right out of the deck, just like this, and this goes on top. So if you do that, you maintain the divided deck. Now I'd like to show you a method for maintaining the entire deck, all 52 cards. In fact, I think I have a deck in new pack order. This is good. I don't expect you to take my word for this stuff, so I'll show you. Here's a deck, all in new deck order. Watch closely. I'll give it one quick shuffle, like this. In fact, I'll give it a second shuffle as well, like this. And that ought to do it. Let's see what we've got. Ooh, ace of spades on the bottom, that's a good sign. Full deck in new deck order. All you have to do is remember, unlike the first version of Triumph Shuffle, this time you cut the top half to the right. The first time, remember, when you were maintaining the divided deck, you cut it to the left. Here you cut the top half to the right. You do the shuffle, hold back one card, and push in. That's when you push the card over. Now you strip out, put them on top, and you maintain a break between the two halves. Now that you've got a break between the two halves, you do the exact same thing again. Top half is cut to the right. That's important. I'm in the habit of cutting it to the other side, but in this case you cut it to the right. You do a second shuffle, dropping one last card. You square up, doing the fake Triumph Vernon action, and you do the strip, and that should put all the cards back in the original order. Another way to do a riffle shuffle and maintain the order of the entire deck is called the push-through shuffle. I like this one. Watch closely. All 52 cards in new deck order. I'll do a quick little shuffle like this. In fact, I'll do it pretty slowly. Give it a little square-up action, a few simple cuts. That looks familiar, doesn't it? In fact, I'll throw in one of those just for good measure. Every card in new deck order. Now, the way this is done is it'd probably be a lot easier to follow if I turn half the cards face up. So I'll leave half face up, half face down. Here's what happens. You cut the deck, you do a standard shuffle, but just to make it easier to follow, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to actually shuffle them together just yet. Just imagine you cut here, you put this top half, which is the face-up half, into the middle like this. Now you never square the deck. What happens is you use the ring fingers. They go on the sides, the middle fingers go on the front ends, and the thumbs at the back. The index fingers and the little fingers are completely out of the way. You pretend to square up the deck, but what happens is you're going to do the push-through shuffle. You push upward with the ring fingers and the middle fingers, like this. That way you start to get a jog. Then you straighten out with the thumbs. So it starts on this side, it goes up, around, and through to the other side. In fact, this is a very good way to practice this action. Remember, the ring fingers go here, middle fingers there, thumbs at the back. You push forward with the ring fingers. That moves the packet forward. Now you push in, and now with your thumbs at the back end, you straighten it out. So it goes in one side and out the other. In one side, all the way through to the other side, just like that. Once it's gone through to the other side, you pull it out and slap it on top. Now that's the very, very basic handling. If I do it with an actual shuffle, the principle's the same. You cut, in fact I'll cut right in the middle. You do a shuffle, but you don't square them up. This is where you do the pull-through action. Remember the ring fingers, index fingers like this, out of the way, middle fingers on the front, and the thumbs at the back. That's important. You pretend to push them in, but you push them through. In one side, out through the other. If you look very closely, you'll see that entire shuffled packet is now jogged out from the left side. Now, if you stop right here, strip those cards out, and slap them on top, that of course puts the entire deck back in the same order. But that's not exactly what you do. Almost, it's close. You do the shuffle, you get ready for the square up, you do the pull-through action or the push-through action, then the left hand strips out the cards. It could slap them directly on top to finish, but it's always nice to finish the push-through with an up-the-ladder sequence. So you pull them out, they're jogged to the left, you pull a small group from the bottom, jog them to the right, take the rest of the cards, jog them to the left, small group from the bottom, jog to the right, and you continue this action as many times as possible until you completely run out of cards. That puts the entire deck back in order. Let me do this once again at regular speed with the cards face down so you can see the entire action. All 52 cards in new deck order. It looks like you're going to do a standard shuffle. It looks like they're being pushed in. You can, oh, here's a nice touch. You can do a fake squaring action, a little riffle in the back. Then you do the strip out. Then you do the up the ladder cut. It looks like they're thoroughly mixed, but actually, like I said before, not one card has changed position. Every card is in new deck order. And that is the push-through shuffle. Now, one of the beautiful things about the table riffle shuffle is that even if somebody suspects that you're doing something tricky, there is absolutely nothing to see. Let's say, for example, that you've controlled a selected card to the top position, but for the trick you're about to do, it needs to be fourth from the top. Well, somehow you've got to get 3 cards on top. If you were to use the overhand shuffle and run cards and in-jog and shuffle off and cut to the break, somebody might suspect something. But think about this. With a riffle shuffle, all you do is you cut the deck into 2 portions. You do a very standard, very legitimate shuffle. The only difference is you happen to end the shuffle with 3 cards from the left-hand packet. And they go, of course, on top of the selection. So when you square up, the selected card is now 4 cards down. This is a legitimate shuffle. I mean, who's to say that you cannot finish a riffle shuffle with the last 3 cards coming from the left-hand packet? It's as good as any. Actually, what I'd like to talk about next is how to get secret information. Once in a while, you're going to have to get some secret information like knowing what the top card is or the bottom card, or once in a while you're going to have to know a card that's a few from the top or a few from the bottom. This is called the peek, or the secret glimpse. It is a secret. Obviously, it would be bad form to just blatantly count down and look, so I'm going to show you a secret technique that's very well covered with misdirection under cover of doing something else. The Hindu shuffle glimpse. This is my kind of glimpse. Very, very easy, very bold. Right now I have no idea what any of the cards in the deck happen to be or where, but all you have to do is give the deck one quick little Hindu shuffle, and in this action you get a secret glimpse. I know now that the top card is the King of Spades. All you have to do is look at the bottom card, and you're doing this in the act of shuffling it to the top. Like right now, I don't know what the bottom card is, but I'll find out. You do the Hindu shuffle, which remember is this action, stripping them off the top into the left-hand dealing position. When you get about halfway through, you feel it's getting a little messy in my left hand, so why don't I just straighten them out a little bit? Well, in doing that, I'm looking now at the bottom card of this packet, which is obviously the 8 of diamonds. And you just continue on with the shuffle, so it's still on the bottom, and you run the last few cards, and the last single card goes on the top. So when you finish the Hindu shuffling action, you know the top card is the 8 of diamonds. There's another peek or a glimpse. It comes from the blackjack tables. It's called the bubble peek. Let's say we're playing a friendly game of blackjack. I don't happen to know the order of any of the cards, but I do know that I've got 1 card face up, 1 card face down. In the act of looking at the face down card, the whole card, I notice the top card is a 6. That's very convenient. This is called the bubble peek. What happens here is you make a little bubble or a buckle. The thumb pushes down and it makes a bubble right here, a little buckle. That's all you have to do. That's the entire action. But you do it under cover of misdirection. 1 card face up, 1 card face down. That's the whole card. As I look for the whole card, I don't really look at the whole card. What I do is the bubble peek here, take a little glimpse. From my point of view, I'm looking right in there and I can see that's obviously the King of Spades. As somebody looks at this one, I can peek at the next one. It's a 2 of clubs. Next is a 10, and you get the bubble peek. Another piece of misdirection that works well with the bubble peek is to control the selected card so that it's second from the top. Right now, I have no idea what the second card from the top is, but let's pretend that's the selection. So you go through the deck, you say, oh, by the way, your card's not on the top, is it? And they say, no, it's not that one. Well, in showing that it's not the top card, I peeked. I know now that your card is the Ace of Diamonds, second from the top. Same action, it's the bubble peek action, but it's done this time under cover of showing the selection is not on the top. That gives you plenty of cover. Right now I'm looking right into there, catching a little glimpse, the bubble peek. Now also, if you happen to know that the selected card is second or third or fourth down from the top, you can use the same technique. It takes a little bit more practice. What you do with your thumb is you push 1, 2, maybe 3 cards. So I see the third card down from the top is the 4 of spades. I don't know what this card is. I didn't remember, but I could have. Or this one. The important card is the third one down, the 4 of spades. So it's the same basic bubble peeking action, but with practice, you can buckle 2 or 3 or 4 cards. Okay? Another interesting technique is the thumb count. Here's the thumb count. If I want to know a card that's, say, 5th from the top, I can thumb count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards down with the thumb tip and buckle all 5 top cards. Now I see it's an 8 of diamonds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards down would be the 8 of diamonds. Basically, it's the same action as the bubble peek. The only difference is you thumb count first. Let's say I needed to know the 10th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've thumb counted 10 cards. I buckle all 10 cards open. I peek in there and I see the Jack of Diamonds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards down, the Jack of Diamonds. Next we have what is known as the phantom peek. Very cool method of peeking at a card. Right now I don't know the order of any of the cards. I don't know the positions of any one card in the deck. That's okay. All I have to do is hold the deck in a dealing position, and as I take a little speck of dust, I peek at the top card. It's the 9 of Diamonds. 9 of Diamonds. Or you can be playing blackjack and you can have a card in the hole just like before. In the act of peeking at that card, I see the card second from the top is a 3. Not the top card, but second from the top. Just like the buckle peek, you can get a peek at the top card or the second card or maybe the third card down. The technique is this. Hold the deck in the left hand, the thumb goes across the top like this. It's actually the fleshy pad below the thumb that does the action. What you do is very slightly, you try to pull the top card back. Boy, that's going to be hard to see. I'll do it face up. Even though when I peek at it, I won't be able to see anything, but you'll see the action. You pull the top card back just a little bit. You hook the flesh at the base of the thumb underneath this slightly side-jogged card, and then you roll the thumb forward. The big action is this. That's the big action. Let me do this again. So I don't know what the top card is, but if I pull it back a little bit and then roll the thumb forward, there's a little opening right in here. And as you turn the hand over, I can see that it's a 5. There's a 5. As you look at the 5, the next card's a 9 of spades. As you do this, I see the next card's a black king. So that's the action. You pull it back and roll the thumb. I know it's very hard to see, but from the exposed view, it should be easy. Okay? You can not only use the whole card peek or the misdirection for looking at the whole card, but you can also pull up the sleeves. If you pull up the sleeves, that gives you very good misdirection for either the bubble peek or the phantom peek. Watch closely. You've got a deck. The spectators just shuffle the cards. You don't know anything. All I do is pull up my sleeves like this, and I know now there's an ace of diamonds on the top of the deck. Another lovely cover for the phantom peek is this. Here's the deck. I don't know anything about the cards, the top, the bottom, or the middle, but if I pull up my sleeves like this, I instantly get a little glimpse of the top card, the 5 of diamonds. This is exactly, of course, the same technique as the phantom peek. It is exactly what you do, but you do it under cover of pulling up the sleeves. As I pull up my left sleeve with the right hand, right now I'm getting a very nice peek at the 5 of diamonds. That's the exposed view. So you pull up one sleeve, you transfer the deck, pull up the other sleeve, and now you know the top card of the deck. Here's a fun way to peek or glimpse at cards on the top. The riffle shuffle, a standard table riffle shuffle. Right now, I'll give the deck a few cuts. I don't know the order or the position of any cards, but if I give it just a standard table riffle shuffle, it's obvious that the top card is the 8 of spades. That's all there is to it. You just cut and you shuffle. I'll do it again. Quick shuffle, you look, the top card's the 7 of hearts. That would be this one. All that happens is as you shuffle the cards, you finish off the shuffle with the left-hand packet, and I look at it. It's the 3 of hearts. It's very obvious. Hopefully, the audience doesn't know this, and most of the time you're looking elsewhere. But when you go into the peek, you just take a little peek at the top card, and when you finish the shuffle, here's an important point. You finish by having the card on the top of the deck, the Jack of Spades. If you want to peek at more than one card, you cut the top card, in this case the Jack of Spades, to the right. You do another shuffle, but you shuffle one more card on top of the Jack of Spades and you peek at it at the same time. Watch, here's the shuffle. There's the peek, the 8 of hearts. So now I know I have the 8 of hearts onto the top, followed by the Jack of Spades second from the top. If you need to peek at a third card, you do the same thing. Top card's over to the right, another shuffle, hold back one card. I spot it as the 5 of hearts. So now there's the 5 of hearts on top of the Jack, on top of the 8 of hearts like this. You can do this with as many cards as you care to memorize. Personally, I like to peek at the card on top of the left-hand packet. It's just a little bit easier for me to spot. Some people are in the habit of peeking at the top card in the right-hand packet. So they would shuffle the cards normally, but when they finish, they hold back one card from the right-hand packet. They look right in here, and I see it's the 9 of hearts. So that is the peek from the left packet or the right packet with a standard riffle shuffle. Here's a very subtle one. I love to do this. You can do this completely surrounded, standing up. It doesn't really mean anything. This is the action of peeking at a card. I didn't do anything tricky. I just looked at the bottom card, the 4 of hearts. Very fun to do. Card goes into the deck. In fact, let me use a card that I don't even know. We'll take a card at random. There's the random card. It goes into the pack. I still don't know what it is, but if I do one quick riffle shuffle, I spot that the 8 of clubs is the chosen card and it's controlled to the bottom. Here's what happens. I might have mentioned this before, but if you have a little finger break below a card, you can riffle to the break and look right at it. In the act of preparing for an in-the-hand shuffle, literally you look at the bottom card of the right-hand packet. Those are the cards that get shuffled first, so when you complete the shuffle, you have either controlled the card to the bottom and peeked at it at the same time, or if you're not doing this as a control, just as a method of peeking at a card, then it doesn't matter where you stop in the riffle, you just stop, peek, and shuffle. 10 of clubs on the bottom of the deck. Here's another method for peeking at a card on the bottom of the pack. This is called the buckle peek or the bubble peek. It's a different version. Right now I'll cut the deck so that I don't know anything about the top card or the bottom card, but if I give the deck a little squaring action, I can spot the bottom card is the 7 of diamonds. There it is. The action is this. I'll cut the deck, complete the cut. In squaring the pack in the hand, all that happens is the left first finger contacts the bottom card. The thumb of the right hand goes here at the inner end, the fingers at the outer end, and because there's contact with this first finger of the left hand, you pull the bottom card buckles back. Now from an exposed view, you get this. That is the bottom card buckle peek. Here's another version of a bottom card peek. It's the X-ray vision peek. I found this in the Arthur Buckley book. It looks the same as the bottom card buckle peek, but it's a completely different method. I'll cut the deck a few times so that I don't know the bottom card. All you do is you hold the deck in your hands like this. Here's what you do. There's the action. I see the bottom card. If I look through the deck with my X-ray vision, I can tell you the bottom card is the Ace of Hearts. Sure enough. A lot of times when I do this, magicians who are familiar with the bottom card bubble or the buckle peek will assume that's what I'm using, but actually the technique is quite different. Here's what you do. I'll cut the deck. I don't know the bottom card. You hold it in a dealing position, and you use the little finger of the left hand to pull the bottom card downward. This is the little finger pull down. Then you transfer the deck to the right hand, but you put the little finger of the right hand into that pull down card, into that break, like this. So right now you're holding the deck in the right hand, but your little finger is there. Covering from the front, what happens is you bow or buckle the card all the way around. Right now I can see right here that it's the 6 of spades. So I'll do that again. If you don't want to use your little finger, you might want to put your ring finger in there, get a little more action out of the buckle. So I'll pull the ring finger in this time. You put it like this, hold the deck like this. Under cover of the hand, I buckle the card. I see the 10 of clubs. All you see is just a little index corner right there. That's it. You close it up, you know the bottom card is the 10 of clubs. Here's another technique for peeking at a card. Let's say you want to know the card that's second from the top. I'll cut the deck, so I don't know the card second from the top, but I'll find out. All you do is this. You hold the pack in your hand and you say, by the way, the card is not on the top and it's not on the bottom. As I show it's not on the bottom, I peek at the card second from the top. It's the King of Clubs. This uses the Erdnase break. Now the Erdnase break, remember, is the little finger goes in as you hold from above like this. It's invisible from the front and from the side, even from the back. But here's what you do. As you show the top card, remember the chosen card is second from the top. I don't know what that is yet, but you get a little finger break underneath it. You do that,